There is an underlying insidious message that says a woman over the age of 40 or 45 is disposable. It seems as if we've lost an entire generation of storytellers, of leaders. We can look at and point to so many ways and places where we receive that unconscious message that we are no longer worthy of taking up space, of being seen or heard. We talk about leading ladies in movies. How often is the leading lady over the age of 45 or 50? Hello, beautiful, and welcome to my YouTube page. I am Dr. Amanda Hanson, also known to many of you as the Midlife Muse. And I am here today to have this conversation about what it means to be a woman in midlife. I want us all just to take a moment and scan our own bodies, our own hearts and souls for the feeling we have inside of us simply when we hear the word midlife. Notice the visceral response inside of your body. Do you feel contracted? Do you feel scared? Do you feel like you're working against a clock, running out of time? Think about what stories you grew up with, hearing, or are currently hearing from your family, from your community, from the culture, about what it means to be a woman in midlife. Are you hearing stories of expansion and becoming and just the second half beginning, rediscovery, excitement? Or are you hearing stories about downhill from here? It's over. Everything begins to fall apart. Everyone will leave you. The best years are now over. Do you hear stories when you speak to women about the fear or the exhilaration? Nobody is talking about where we are as women in midlife. Everything that is out right now on the internet and in the world tends to lend to the conversation of the crisis, of all that is wrong, all that we are losing. And I want to revolutionize the way we look at midlife. I want to have conversations that look at all that we are gaining, all that we are becoming, that which is just yet beginning. I think the reality of where we are as a culture of midlife women is cultureless. I don't think that there is a space or place where many of us feel we belong or fit in. And I'm hearing from woman after woman this desire and this need for somebody to talk about midlife more than the physical aspect or the beauty aspect of midlife. What does it mean for us as women who have come to this place in our life with so much wisdom, with so much experience and so much to be shared, and to have an underlying sense that you're disposable? And we can look at and point to so many ways and places where we receive that unconscious message that we are no longer worthy of taking up space, of being seen or heard. We see it through toxic beauty culture and the way we want to mute or freeze any signs of aging. We see it in even the roles. When we talk about leading ladies in movies, how often is the leading lady over the age of 45 or 50? We don't seem to see that same thing when we're talking about men as the leading role in movies. We see it in the dating world. There are so many spaces and places, even dating apps, that are suggested to be for people 45 and under, as if after 45 you're no longer interested in still having a connection with somebody or finding love. There is an underlying insidious message that says a woman over the age of 40 or 45 is disposable. Is that because of the fertility? Is that because the youth has faded from the face? What is happening that we are telling women, we're no longer in need of any of your service, please step aside? I have client after client who comes in and says these exact same sentiments. They feel that even in their place of business, they are being bypassed for promotions. It is going to younger women. People in the offices are receiving bonuses and raises. They've been there longer and are not. What message are we telling women? Are we eventually trying to squeeze them out so that they leave on their own? We get to change the direction. We get to change the current that this conversation goes. And it only begins with us as women having these much deeper conversations and exploring, how did we get here? Because it's always important to understand historically how we got here so that we can move and create change from that space. And what do we want for ourselves? What do we want in midlife and beyond as women? That's the conversation I'm inviting all of us into. Now, I am all for honoring the reality of the midlife experience, being in it myself, very much so, for the past 10 years. I'm here to honor the reality of the experience, to look at what changes happen. I'm not here to bypass this gorgeous, exquisite time. That's why I want to have these conversations to say, is it true? Is the only options that we become 50 fabulous, frozen forever, looking like we're 30? Or the other option that it is all a crisis from here. We are going to lose all vitality. Everything will shrivel up. Everything will change. We will no longer feel beautiful, sensual, or worthy. And it's over. Because those seem to be the only two options. I'm curious about the option that looks at wisdom, becoming, the stories that talk about what gets to be possible. It seems as if we've lost an entire generation of storytellers, of leaders, of elders in our women and in our society. I know that I was so deeply longing for a female leader who has gone before me and is leading the way for all of us, to showcase what it looks like to claim her midlife and do so proudly, unapologetically, with all of the wisdom that comes with it and all of the new discoveries. I don't hear people talking about the new discoveries of midlife. I hear a lot of conversation about all that gets lost and left behind in our time of being the maiden. The maiden was a beautiful and amazing journey for each of us, hopefully. But what happens now? Where are the stories about the weavers of this midlife experience? Where are the women that we can circle up with a warm cup of tea and learn from her and feel excited again? Those are the conversations that I think are profoundly, deeply essential, not just to women in midlife, but to the entire world, for all of humanity. It is time that we have these really beautiful, spiritual conversations about being in midlife. I invite you to come close. Stay here, for this is just the beginning of so many conversations that we are going to have, the places we are going to explore, the journey we are going to take together. This is the space where we will revolutionize midlife, arm in arm, for all of us.